So, you've got this amazing idea for a product or a service, right? But then you hit that wall. How do you actually get people to buy it? Well, that space between a brilliant idea and a happy customer, that's a bridge. And that bridge is called marketing. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to build it, step by step, no confusing jargon allowed. Here's the game plan. First, we'll figure out what marketing really is. Then, we'll dive into the good stuff, getting to know your customer, doing a little detective work with research, building your strategy with the famous 4 Ps, and finally, figuring out how to actually get your product into your customers' hands. All right, let's dive right in. It always starts with that little spark, right? That aha moment. But here's the thing. An idea on its own isn't a business. You need a way to connect with the right people and show them you've got something they need. That whole process? That's marketing. And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? You've put your heart and soul into creating something awesome, and then what? You're just kind of left standing there? Coming up with the idea is maybe half the battle. The real work begins when you have to build that connection between your thing and the people who need it. So let's get real about what marketing is. Forget about just flashy ads and Super Bowl commercials for a minute. At its very core, marketing is about 2 things: discovery and delivery. It's about being a detective to figure out who your customers are, what they actually need, and then building a profitable way to give it to them. And, this whole big idea really boils down to getting 4 things right. You have to offer the right product, you need to set the right price, you've got to put it in the right place, and you absolutely have to tell people about it with the right promotion. When you get those 4 things working together, you've got a seriously solid foundation. But before we get carried away with products and prices, we've got to pump the brakes, because none of it matters if we don't start in the right place. And that place is the single most important part of your business, the customer. Seriously, everything starts and ends with them. Okay, so when we talk about customers, it's really helpful to split them into 2 main camps. On one side, you have your existing customers. These are your fans, the people who are already buying from you. But then there's this huge, untapped world of potential customers, people who need what you have, but they just haven't found you yet. The name of the game is to keep your current fans happy while turning those potential customers into new ones. So how in the world do you figure out what all these people actually want? Well, you don't just throw a dart at a board and hope for the best. Nope. You put on your detective hat. And that, my friends, is where market research comes in. Just think of market research as your business's superpower. It's like having super hearing and X-ray vision. It's the process you use to gather all the intel you need to make smart moves instead of just, guessing. And you're not only learning about customers, you're also sizing up the competition. And hey, the best part, this doesn't have to cost a fortune. It really starts with some simple, smart actions. For one, actually talk to people who might buy your stuff. Hear their problems in their own words. 2, study your competitors. Don't copy them, but look for the gaps they're missing. 3, ask people you work with, like your suppliers. They see the whole industry. And 4, just read. Stay on top of what's happening. Every little insight helps. Okay, so once you've done all of that digging and you've got all these juicy insights, what do you do with them? Well, you need a plan, an actual strategy. And this is where we bring out the most famous tool in the entire marketing toolbox. It's officially called the marketing mix, but pretty much everyone just calls it the 4 Ps. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a control panel. These are the 4 main levers you can pull and adjust to create the perfect strategy for your specific customers. All right, let's start with P number 1. This is the big one, product. This is your what. What is the actual thing, the good or the service, that you are putting out into the world? And we're talking about more than just the basic item, right? It's all the little decisions that shape the whole experience. What's the quality going to be? How about the design? What options are you going to offer, like different colors or sizes? These details really matter. Okay, so you've got your product dialed in. Next up is P number 2, price. Simple question, but a tough one. How much is this going to cost someone? And pricing. Wow, that's a real tightrope walk. You absolutely have to know what it costs you to make it so you can actually turn a profit. You have to peek over your shoulder and see what your competitors are doing. But the most important piece of the puzzle, you need to understand what your customers believe it's worth. Finding that sweet spot where all those things meet, that's the goal. All right, so awesome product, perfect price. We're on a roll.
But how do people actually get their hands on it? That brings us to our third P, place. This is all about access and convenience.
When we say place, we're talking about where the magic happens, where the customer actually buys from you. If you have a physical shop, it's all about that location, right? Is it easy to get to? But for any business, it's also about your distribution channels. How does your product make that journey from you to them?
And that brings us to the grand finale, the fourth P, promotion. Because let's be honest, you could have the greatest product in the history of the world, but if nobody knows it exists, it doesn't matter one bit.
Promotion is really all about communication, and it kind of breaks down into two main jobs. Think of advertising as sending out the invitations to a really great party. It's how you get people interested and in the door. Then you have sales promotion, things like a buy one, get one free deal. That's like the fun activities at the party that encourage people to stick around and buy more. You know, out of all those P's, place can sometimes be the trickiest one to figure out. It's not just about a single storefront. It's this whole invisible network that gets your product where it needs to go. So let's just spend a second and look a little closer at what distribution is all about.
Yeah, at the end of the day, distribution is just the A to B journey. It's the entire supply chain, the path your product takes from the moment it's ready to the moment a customer is holding it. And the cool thing is, you get to choose which path it takes.
And generally, there are three main ways this can go. You can sell direct to your customer. Think of your own online store, super simple path. Or you can go through a retail channel, where another store, like a boutique or a big box store, sells your product for you. Or you could use a wholesale channel, where you sell in bulk to a middleman who then sells to all sorts of retailers. Each path has its own pros and cons for cost and control. So there you have it, product, price, place, and promotion. The 4 Ps. They are the essential building blocks for that bridge between your big idea and the customers who are waiting for it. It's such a powerful framework. The only real question left for you is, when you think about your business or your idea, which P needs your attention first?